Order. I'm going to call Michelle Welsh to move the motion. I will then call the Minister to respond. I might remind other members that they may only make a speech with the prior permission of the member in charge of the debate and the Minister. There will not be an opportunity for the member in charge to wind up, as is the convention for 30-minute debates. Order. Michelle Welsh to move the motion.
Thank you, Chair. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. It's an absolute honour to represent the constituency of Sherwood Forest, the home of beautiful countryside, communities, villages, towns and farms. And no matter where in the world you go, people know about the wonder of Sherwood Forest. It is one of the most recognisable places in the world. Sherwood Forest has often been associated with Robin Hood, a legendary, heroic outlaw, known for his highly skilled archery. Yes.
About Robin Hood, I wonder if she'd join me in celebrating also the legacy of former Mansfield Woodhouse resident Major Hayman Rook, who discovered and is associated with the major oak tree in Sherwood Forest. And I'm sure she's also aware that the tree, which was named in his honour, is believed to have been that legendary hiding place of Robin Hood and his merry men.
Thank you, and I welcome his contribution. I know he's going to be involved in Sherwood Forest Day, and actually 20th of February, which is Sherwood Forest Day, is named after exactly that. And without showing my age too much, Chairman, I can actually remember a time when you could climb on the major oak. Now you can't get within 20 feet of it. Sherwood Forest... The magic of Sherwood Forest is not lost on Hollywood. From Disney to Kevin Costner, many blockbuster films have been made about the legendary figure and the historic forest he lives in. Yet this magic has been lost somehow in Nottinghamshire, or at least partly forgotten. As a child growing up in Nottinghamshire, you are surrounded by the magic, the tales, the powerful stories of courage, fairness and community that have been growing here for centuries. I remember distinctively going as a family, school trips and youth clubs to areas across Nottinghamshire, including Sherwood Forest. From Robin Hood to today's volunteers, Sherwood Forest has always stood up for what's right. Yet I fear we are beginning to lose exactly what it is we stand for. Over the last 14 years, communities in Sherwood Forest have been left behind. Communities that once served their country and contributed to the industrial strength of the UK have been left with deteriorating health and economic outcomes. It's time to say no more. In just over a week's time, on February the 20th of February, we will celebrate the second truly special Sherwood Forest Day. This is a day to honour our world-famous historic forest, its ancient oaks and the legacy of courage, fairness and community. Throughout the day, across Nottinghamshire, a number of events will be taking place to celebrate, including a business breakfast in the heart of Sherwood Forest, bringing together the fantastic businesses across Sherwood Forest, numerous plaque unveilings to mark key areas and tree planting to continue the legacy of the ancient forests. There's an opportunity to celebrate our great history and local culture, about pride in our communities and working together to build a better future. I've heard that some of the trees being planted are even descendants from ancient oaks themselves.
As one who's brought up, and I'm old, I'm probably the oldest person in this chamber, I can well remember Robin Hood on TV in black and white, and that wasn't yesterday. So I'm really quite impressed by the Honourable Lady and putting forward for her beautiful constituency. And hailing, as I do, from Strangford, and which I think is unparalleled beauty, I do believe the Honourable Lady does literally not agree that for tourism to take off, funding is needed for promotion. And the Minister who's here, and a very sympathetic Minister, by the way, government can and must do more to put money into getting visitors across the threshold of the United Kingdom, knowing that if they come once, they'll come back again. And surely that has to be a good policy to follow.
Thank you for your contribution. Sherwood Forest Day is an opportunity for communities across Nottinghamshire to reflect on our heritage and celebrate what brings us together. I want to give a huge thank you to the Sherwood Forest Trust and Richard Townsley, the medieval Sheriff of Nottingham, for all the work they are doing at Sherwood Forest Day and for our community as a whole. At the heart of all we are doing for Sherwood Forest Day is communities such as Ollerton, Edwinstowe, Blynyth, Rainworth and Clipston, to put them back on the map and encourage for those from all over the world to visit and marvel at what we have to offer. But we cannot do it alone. Celebrating our culture and history should not be left to only one day of the year, but should be honoured every single day. I will.
Thank you very much for giving way and for bringing this debate to the Chamber today. As she knows, the Mayor of the East Midlands, Claire Ward, has put the visitor economy at the heart of her vision for the East Midlands region, and she may be aware that the Centre of It All marketing campaign launched last week. Does she agree with me that Sherwood Forest and the Transports Quarter, which would be based in my constituency of Rushcliffe, have the opportunity to grow our visitor economy to the £1 billion target that Claire Ward has set?
Thank you, and I thank my honourable member for his contribution. And he is right, the Mayor of the East Midlands, Claire Ward, is forever supportive of our tourism, and like us knows there's still a lot more work to be done as well. There are many factors that go into supporting a thriving tourism economy, most notable for rural areas such as Sherwood Forest, adequate transport, support for business and community investment. Transport in rural areas such as Sherwood Forest and the more historic Sherwood Forest is actually inadequate. Often public transport is not consistent, buses do not run in the evening, or sometimes not at all. There is even a railway line named after Robin Hood that does not serve the majority of historic Sherwood Forest. How can we expect people to come and visit this historic land if they cannot access it? Not only people coming from far and wide, but for those who this is on their doorstep.
Thank you, Chair, and thank my honourable friend for giving way. Our green spaces are so vitally important, but not for our just environment, for our mental health, but economic benefits that they bring to our communities. And actually having rail access to our communities is super important. My constituency of North West Leicestershire is not too far away from Sherwood Forest. It's home to the National Forest. And it's so easy accessible, like Sherwood, to about 10 million people. Does my honourable friend agree with me that the East Midlands needs to capitalise on the tourism potential of all of its forests, including in Leicestershire and Nottinghamshire?
Yes, and exactly that. Thank you, honourable friend, for making such a contribution. Of course, yes, it is very, very important. It's important that as MPs across the East Midlands we continue to work together with regards to this. I'd be interested in hearing from the Minister what work is being done in partnership with the Department of Transport and the East Midlands Combined Authority to ensure places of heritage importance are connected and accessible. When you talk about the community of Sherwood Forest, you cannot forget to mention the bond of coal mining that for so long was the lifeblood of our economy. From the Hucknall Colliery in the south to Ollerton Colliery in the north, the roots of mining are deep in Sherwood Forest. That's why I'm so proud that this government stuck to its promise to release funds from the Mine Workers Pension Scheme to its members and went further and did the same for the British Coal Superannuation Scheme. This is the rightful release of funds. It means a combined additional 11 million a year that has been spent in our towns and villages, in our local shops, in our local pubs. The current magic of Sherwood Forest is being wielded by local businesses such as Robinstead in Edwinstowe, who fight day in, day out to keep stories alive, whilst also facing the challenges of being a small business. I believe that if we can shine a light on the history of Sherwood Forest and encourage more young people to learn about the stories, they will be inspired to add their own twists. If we invest in our local businesses for tourism, young people across Sherwood Forest will benefit by believing in the magic and having access to more work opportunities in their own communities. Finally, on community investment, I'm proud that this government is investing in communities neglected by the previous Conservative government. We are making real changes to people's lives by funding more breakfast clubs, new school and expanding healthcare into communities. The government, in partnership with the Labour Mayor Claire Ward, have provided over £31 million to fund the A614 improvements projects to create a corridor of hope where our past meets our future. This as well as £30 million for the regeneration of Ollerton Town Centre, which has been achieved through working with Labour councillors and the Labour-run Newark and Sherwood District Council. Pride for where you live is not always guaranteed. It comes when everyone is investing their time and their money into improving their community. I hope that what we are doing on Sherwood Forest Day will be an opportunity for people in Nottinghamshire to be really proud. I'd also like to see more investment into parts of community which are often seen as nice to have and not as key infrastructure and central to people living happy lives. Sherwood Forest will simply not be what it was today if it was not for our local small businesses, the village pubs and the farms, a key part of our rural economy, providing opportunities and enjoyment to our people. Sherwood Forest is not simply the home of Robin Hood, but it's the home of numerous historic sites such as Wyburn Park, which once inspired Lord Byron's work, and Thoresby Park, a beautiful country estate, and Woodford Abbey Country Park, which has recently reopened following a conservation project. I was honoured to visit the site on Saturday and learn more about the work to preserve this park, which has been so important to me growing up in Nottinghamshire. Investment into landmarks like these is investment into the whole community by creating more job opportunities, supporting local shops and restaurants, and helping us to conserve our heritage assets. From our cultural heritage sites such as Newstead Abbey to Clumber Park to modern attractions such as Centre Parks, Sherwood Pines, and who can forget my son's favourite place to go, Willgate and White Post Farm. Sherwood Forest really is the place to visit. I know I do not have to tell the Minister the importance of culture and heritage to communities, but I wonder if they could expand on what this government is doing to protect and invest in our cultural assets, particularly in Sherwood Forest. As we approach Sherwood Forest Day, I'd like to take this opportunity to urge everyone, whether you live locally or are visiting for the first time, to join us in Nottinghamshire, a jewel in our nation's crown. Celebrate our history, help us protect our future, be part of Sherwood Forest Day or every day after. The people of Sherwood Forest have a proud history of standing up for what is right and for each other. Despite the attempts of some to divide us, it is truer now than it has ever been. We are more in common than what divides us.
The question is that this House has considered tourism in Sherwood Forest. Michael Payne.
Thank you, Dr Murison. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, and I'd like to start by congratulating my honourable friend, the member for Sherwood Forest, on securing this important debate and on the phenomenal leadership that she has shown in establishing Sherwood Forest Day. It's a brilliant initiative, one that celebrates not just a place, but a shared history that continues to shape our communities today. Sherwood Forest is rightly famous around the world, but what is sometimes forgotten is just how many of our towns and villages once formed part of the Great Forest. In Gedling, communities such as Arnold and Carlton and beyond were historically within the bounds of Sherwood Forest. These are places with deep roots in that story, places where history is not locked in the past, but woven into everyday life. From medieval woodland rites to the enduring legend of Robin Hood, these communities help shape the folklore and the identity of our great county of Nottinghamshire. The tales of Robin Hood and his band are not just stories for tourists. They speak to ideas of fairness, justice, and standing up for the common good, values that still resonate strongly with the people I represent in Gedling today. That's why, Chair, I am delighted that on Sherwood Forest Day, I will be joining the Mayor of Gedling, my husband, Councillor Carl Robinson Payne, to unveil plaques recognising the communities that were once part of the historic forest. I am especially pleased that 2 of these plaques will be erected on excellent local pubs from owned by the Lincoln Green Brewery, the Brickyard in Carlton, and one of my own locals, the much-loved and aptly named Robin Hood and Little John in Arnold. I want to place on record my thanks to Anthony Hughes, the founder and owner of Lincoln Green Brewery, which is in the my honourable friend, the member for Sherwood Forest's own constituency, for his generous support of this initiative and for his commitment to celebrating local heritage. Remembering and preserving our local history and heritage is vital. In Gedling, we are blessed to have brilliant local history groups that do just that. My thanks to the Lamley Historical Society, the Burton Joyce and Bulkett Local History Society, the Gedling Local History and Preservation Society and Arnold Local History Group for their outstanding work in preserving our rich and interesting local history. And a special thanks, Chair, to my good friend Bob Massey for all he does to champion and celebrate our proud history in and around Arnold. Tourism rooted in history and heritage strengthens local pride. It supports local businesses and it tells the world that Gedling's story is inseparable from the story of Sherwood Forest. I look forward to seeing Sherwood Forest Day go from strength to strength and to playing my part in ensuring Gedling's place in that story is rightly recognised.
Minister.
Thank you. And it is a pleasure to serve under your chairship, Dr Murison. I'd like to, of course, begin by congratulating my honourable friend, the member for Sherwood Forest, on securing this debate and the powerful way in which she has spoken about her constituency, its history and its people. And indeed, the fact that this debate has been so well attended by local members shows what strong representation the area is blessed with. We've got the member for Mansfield, of course, mentioned the well-known Major Oak, something the member for Nottingham North mentioned to me and I was on the way to this debate. But we've had contributions from the members from Rushcliffe, North West Leicestershire, and a contribution from the member for Gedling, who mentioned so many of his outstanding local groups, and even representation from the member from Strangford, who is not in his place, but made a really good point around attracting more international visitors, something I'll touch on later in my speech. Before I come to the substance, I'd like to acknowledge her comments around the Mine Workers Pension Scheme and the BCSSS. As the Member of Parliament for Barnsley East and South, I was really proud to lead that campaign in Parliament over a number of years, and it means that our constituents are between £30 and £100 a week better off thanks to this Labour government. That figure is not just transformational for local areas, it is absolutely the right thing to do. And it does mean that money will go into the local economy, and it means that many of our constituents can go on and spend money in the local economy and take part in day trips and so on. Now, this debate has underlined something the government is very clear about. Tourism is not a peripheral issue. It's a major economic sector, a significant employer, and a powerful driver of growth across every nation and region of the UK. Nationally, tourism supports around 1.3 million jobs and contributes over 64 billion in gross value added to the economy. But beyond the numbers, the visitor economy plays a vital role in shaping how the UK is seen around the world, through our landscapes, our heritage, our creativity and our culture. It supports town centres, sustains rural economies, creates opportunity for young people and builds pride in place. Now, the member asked specifically about what the government is doing to protect cultural assets. This government announced a £1.5 billion package to restore national pride, investing in cultural organisations over a 5-year period and turning the corner on a decade of underfunding. This long-term commitment recognises that culture and heritage are not simply nice to have, but essential infrastructure for thriving communities and a strong visitor economy. And that is why this government is committed to providing long-term strategic support for the visitor economy. Our ambition is for the UK to remain a world-class destination, attracting 50 million international visitors annually by 2030, but crucially encouraging those visitors to travel more widely, stay longer, and contribute to local economies across the country. This ambition will be set out in our forthcoming visitor economy growth strategy, which will focus on unlocking investment, supporting jobs, and ensuring tourism growth is competitive, sustainable, and inclusive. Turning to the regional picture, the East Midlands provides a strong example of how tourism is being placed at the heart of growth and regeneration. The visitor economy is recognised as a core growth sector within the East Midlands Local Growth Plan. This reflects robust regional evidence showing that the visitor economy has the potential to generate at least £1 billion in additional economic growth. To drive delivery, partners across the region have established Visit East Midlands, providing strategic leadership and coordination across the local visitor economy partnerships and destination management organisations. I also want to recognise the leadership of Mayor Claire Ward, who is championing the visitor economy as a central pillar of the region's growth ambitions and ensuring it receives the focus and visibility it deserves, as the member for Rushcliffe rightly outlined. This regional leadership is already translating into action. The East Midlands Combined County Authority has recently launched, and I quote, "at the centre of it all" campaign, showcasing the region's diverse visitor offer and reinforcing its position at the heart of the country. This campaign is being delivered in close partnership with local visitor economy partnerships and destination organisations, ensuring a coherent and compelling offer to both domestic and international audiences, as the member for North West Leicestershire spoke about those regional connections and work, which is so important. The region is also strengthening its position through major events and sports tourism. Nottingham will host the European Archery Championships in 2028, an event that not only brings significant economic benefits, but also connects powerfully to the Robin Hood story that defines Sherwood Forest. Through this work, the region is realising the full potential of the Robin Hood brand, developing regional and pan-regional itineraries and targeting key international markets, particularly in the United States. Against that backdrop, Sherwood Forest stands out as a place of extraordinary national and international significance. Centuries in the making, the legend of Sherwood Forest continues to grow, with every generation adding to its legacy. Today, it is a remarkable destination, home to ancient woodland, rich biodiversity, and one of the most enduring cultural narratives in the world. Around 350,000 people visit Sherwood Forest each year, drawn by its natural beauty, heritage, and cultural power. Within the National Nature Reserve, 375 hectares of ancient woodland support hundreds of species, birds, insects, mammals, and plants, protecting this precious environment while ensuring it remains accessible is exactly the balance that this government wants to support. And I want to pay particular tribute to the Sherwood Forest Trust for its stewardship of this unique landscape, demonstrating how conservation, community engagement, and tourism can reinforce one another. Their work closely aligns with Visit England's regenerative tourism framework, which focuses on protecting natural assets while delivering lasting benefits for local communities. And I'm also very pleased to recognise Sherwood Forest Day, taking place on the 20th February, which celebrates this world-famous historic forest and its global cultural significance. Moments like this strengthen local pride while shining a light on places of international importance, as the member outlined, particularly talking about the business breakfast and the events going on the 20th February. I wish them the very best of luck. And as my honourable friend highlighted, Sherwood's story also contributes to the UK's soft power. The legend of Robin Hood remains one of our most recognisable cultural exports, resonating through literature, film and television. Through Visit Britain Starring Great Britain campaign, we are using screen tourism to encourage visitors to explore more of the UK, and Sherwood Forest is a natural fit for that approach. My honourable friend also rightly praised the practical challenges facing the area. She made a particular point around connectivity. Access matters for visitors, local residents and for businesses. So to address the point she made around transport, this government is introducing our integrated national transport strategy. It will place a strong emphasis on connecting people to places of opportunity, heritage and culture, ensuring that the transport investment supports regional growth, rural access and the visitor economy alongside commuting needs. We're working closely with the Department for Transport, the East Midlands Combined Authority and local partners to improve connectivity so that destinations like Sherwood Forest are accessible for those both travelling further afield and for communities on its doorstep. Supporting local businesses is equally critical. Tourism works best when it creates opportunities for people to live, work and build futures in their own communities. That is why we're addressing skill shortages, promoting apprenticeships and improving recruitment and retention across the sector, ensuring young people can see tourism as a viable and rewarding career. Sherwood Forest is not just a place of extraordinary heritage. It is a living, evolving destination that contributes to regional growth, national identity and Britain's global story. With continued partnership, investment and strategic support, it can continue to thrive for generations to come. Thank you.
The question is that this House has considered tourism in Sherwood Forest. As many as are of that opinion say aye. To the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. Order, order. Sitting suspended until 4:30.